Welcome to NerdGuyProductions. Today we're going to be watching Atlanta. Alright, and we're back.
This is so beautiful. Wow. That's a good price.
Ern's mom.
Mom, we leave soon. I'm tired. I was at school all day.
Okay, so we're getting a flashback episode. Alright.
Said school is my job.
Better not have no craziness on it.
No,
It's for us, by
I had
us.
to pick this color.
this is the only one.
I said, who did that?
Just pretend like you didn't do shit. Wow. Wow. Fucking hate school.
Why both y'all got the same shirt?
Oh shit!
Y'all don't
Look,
have to
got
make a
fake shirt.
big deal out of it.
Look.
Shit.
This one has more stripes than that one, and that one got a patch.
Oh no, y'all wearing fake FUBU now.
Let me see the text.
Why do people have to make such a big deal out of brands and shit? Like, so lame. I get it, it's FUBU, but...
Hey, they got snitches up in here.
Alfred, I will write you up, boy. Go to class.
Hey, everybody! This man got on Phoebe!
It's great. It was really great. I mean, the world runs on money. If your shirt is fake, doesn't matter if it looks exactly the same as the other one.
Hey, you saw the Dragon Ball Z last night?
Nah, my mom won't let me watch it anymore. She saw the black guy with the red lips, and now she says it's racist.
Oh, yeah, man, that's weird. Man, don't be acting nervous. I mean, people try to come at you, just deny it. Confidence is the key. All right? Hold it down,
That's
cuz
true.
hand the lunch. Man, this one the world shirt. It's supposed to say made in Bangladesh on this one. Of course, this fool gonna say made in China. He is Chinese. Man, come on, man. That one a fake one. Trust me, I know.
Man, my shirt ain't fake. It ain't.
Oh, this nigga homeless. Daddy rocking fake food.
That's fucked, but... I feel like Ern is just thinking it had to be one of us. Glad it's not me.
Your classmate, Devin Myers, committed suicide last night. We're not sure why, but we've heard a couple of things. It seems Devin's parents had just gotten divorced and he was dealing with it pretty hard. Now, if anybody needs to talk about what happened, please visit Miss Lindell in the counselor's office. Miss Banks or any other teacher will write you a pass.
Sue, why I gotta wear that?
Because I said so. You want to make a good impression. My mother always said you got one chance to make a first impression.
True indeed.
But it's gonna be all hot.
I don't care. You are a black man in America. And when you meet people, you need to look good. Your clothes are important.
That's true, Ern. You need to wear the suit.
Unfortunately true.
Oh, and I got you another one of those FUBU shirts. It was on sale. Don't say I never did anything for you.
Thanks.
That was pretty cool. Normally I'm not a fan of flashback storytelling, but in this case it worked really, really well. And another really good episode of Atlanta. This one dealt with a lot of issues, interestingly, that a lot of people deal with and only certain people deal with. Because it was school, everyone can relate to passing notes and the aggressive relationship between a teacher and a student, bullies harassing you, someone asking to copy your homework, all that shit. But there were certain things in this episode that were for specific groups. And they perfectly showed this when Ern was with his white friend, who, like me, didn't really understand what the big deal was. For white people, wearing a brand isn't really all that big of a deal. It's like his friend said, he wore the same shirt twice and no one even noticed. It's a privilege that white people have. But for a black person, showing off that brand and the fact that you have some money makes a big difference. It earns you some respect, or at the very least gives you a moment of peace and quiet. And it's pretty interesting that even though I've never experienced anything like that growing up, but despite that, I really started to get into it and I wanted to know whether his shirt was fake or not. And despite the fact that Ern's friend and even Ern himself, to a degree, didn't really give a shit whether the shirt was real or not, it doesn't matter because everyone else does. They want to know if he bought it off of a sales rack or if it's the real deal. Even though this is a flashback episode, they're kids, for the first time in a while the stakes feel pretty low. Money is still like the #1 issue facing them on a daily basis. You know, other kids are giving them shit because their parents bought them clothes that might be fake. And clearly Ern and Devin didn't give a fuck about their shirts being the same or fake or whatever, but everyone else did, and therefore they were pitted against each other. Like, they didn't necessarily want to be, but they kind of had to. And like I said, by the end of the episode, Ern was just thankful at that point. Like, I'm glad that's not me getting shit on right now, because it very easily could have been had it not been for Al. I'm not sure if this is supposed to foreshadow anything that's about to happen in the finale, but if it does, the only thing I could really gather from that was, despite Ern and Al being on different paths in their lives, because pretty much for the most of that episode they didn't really hang out or talk to each other, there were only 1 or 2 scenes. But despite that, the end of the episode sees them both on the same couch, not saying a word to each other, but they're kind of stuck with each other. So maybe something similar will happen in the finale. Overall, I give that episode a 9 out of 10. It brought up a lot of serious issues and interesting character traits for Ern and Al without being like super on the nose about anything. The only reason I dock at any points is just because it's a flashback episode means that the narrative kind of has to stop a little bit. Like, I want to find out what happens. I want to see what Ern does to make it back into Al's good graces, or if he doesn't. But by doing a whole flashback episode, that means I gotta wait, and that's a little bit of a bummer. Either way, really good. And that is it. Everybody's heard this. No.
Tracy's got his own.
That's not what he's talking about.